Here we are at the winter meetings in San Diego, and I think people know this familiar face with Jim Leyland. Jim, how you doing?
Good, really good. We're out here like everybody else, and there's a lot of sparring going on. Not a lot of action for us so far, but, it's early yet.
It is early. You've been through this a ton. If you look at your team's needs, obviously a lot of people say reliever and corner outfielder. You agree with that?
Well, they're Brad's needs now, not mine. So
they're still your team.
I'll let him worry about that. I don't know. I'm not sure we got that many needs. I think sometimes you need to just tweak things a little bit. And sometimes you need to, the guys that you have, you need them to do a little bit better. I think Castellanos had a really good year for rookie last year with the bat. We know we're going to work with him defensively a little bit, try to improve him a little bit that way. But J.D. Martinez had a big year. We're a pretty good team. So, we don't need, by any means, need any kind of overhaul. Maybe just tweak it a little bit. But, he's an expert at that. He'll get something done.
How much better is the Central, in your opinion? Indians get Brandon Moss. The White Sox make a deal.
Well, I've been a guy that's promoted, when I was in Detroit, a lot of people kept criticizing the Central, and I disagreed with that. I thought that the Central's been pretty darn good for quite a while. Kansas City went there last year. We were in the playoffs last year with Kansas City. One other time, Minnesota was there with us when I was managing, and Detroit and Minnesota were there. Cleveland got in the playoff. I think it's a very underrated division.
Two things Detroit fans are always asking about. Number one, would you put it past Dave Dombrowski to bring back Max Scherzer? You never close the door on a guy like that, right?
Well, like Dave said, I really don't know where that stands. I stay out of that. That's between Dave and Max and the agents, and I really don't know, to be honest with you, where that stands. I'm kind of surprised being here at the winter meetings that you really haven't heard a lot about Scherzer. Lester seems to be the big name that's getting all the attention so far. And it seems like, for whatever reason, Max and Shields, throw Shields in there too, there just hasn't seemed to be a lot of talk about those guys. So I'm really not sure where that stands.
You think it's once Lester goes, then they figure out those guys?
Yeah, I think that's normally what they say. I don't know why it works like that. I've never believed in that. I've always believed if you want a guy, you go out and you make your pitch for him, and then regardless of what happens with the other guy, but it doesn't seem to work that way. I don't know if it's because of a market value type thing or somebody's trying to set a tone for the market. I'm really not sure how that works.
You know how important starting pitching is. You used to say it all the time. What do you think when people say, well, they should trade Porcello or Price?
I don't know about that. I like what we're sending out there every 5 days. I think Green was a great addition. I think those other four guys are really good, and I think that's usually what gets you there, and that's usually what can get you over the hump. If you get a few big hits at the right time, even when we lost to Baltimore, it wasn't that those big guys pitched bad. We pitched good enough. We let one game get away, but at the same time, I really like what we're sending out there, and I'd hate to deplete any pitching that we have. It's pretty darn good.
A couple more with Jim Leyland, the former skipper. All right, so I read some quotes from you. You like the fact in retirement you can sit and watch the games and then pretty much do whatever you want. You don't have to travel. But when you're sitting and watching those games, are you still managing? Do you second guess guys? Not just. I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but do you second guess what guys do?
No, I don't really second guess anybody. You just watch the game and it is what it is. And of course, I know what we have, so I know pretty much what Brad's going to do. I know he's got the pieces all ready to go in the bullpen situation, things like that. No, it's not a matter of second guessing. It's just a matter of enjoying the game and watching the guys and watching the pitches and watching the pitches that they try to make on certain hitters and watching Victor Martinez, how he's so good at what he does, and Cabrera. It's really interesting when you sit home and I'm in my den watching it because you don't really see it exactly the same. You can actually see it better on TV, the pitches stuff, than you can when I'm actually managing the game. So it's pretty interesting. No, I don't think about even second guessing. I just watch the game and pull for the Tigers.
I know you used to love it when the media second-guessed you, but the second one is, obviously you had a great career with the Tigers and a great career managing in general. Is there one move or one game that every now and then eats at your craw a little bit, just digs at you a little bit? Maybe I should have did this, or maybe you think about that stuff?
Well, I think the media would be surprised to know and the fans would be surprised to know that you beat yourself up worse than anybody else does. And I don't know that there's one game. I think I made several mistakes over my career like everybody else does. But I think that, you really beat yourself up more than anybody else. And I found out over the years, to be honest with you, most of the times you get second guessed, it's normally about something that you did right. There was a lot of games I managed over my career that I went into the clubhouse after the game and said, oh, they're going to beat me up on this one. And they never even ask about it. They ask about something else that you did right. But when you mug a game, you know it as a manager, and nobody feels worse than you do. Fortunately, most of the time, other people don't pick up on it. They're talking about why'd you do this, why'd you bunt, why'd you do this, and it has nothing to do with the mistake you made.